Hello everybody, I'm InTheLittleWood, also known as Martin, and welcome to Creativerse. Now, before this video starts, I very quickly just want to say, put anything aside, don't look at this as a Minecraft clone. I just want you to look at this as something fresh. I've been playing this game over the Christmas period, and you know what? I really enjoyed it. It helped me zone out. I was able to just listen to music. I was exploring a whole new crafting system, and I just think this game has a lot of promise. It's currently in like early access on Steam, sort of greenlit and all that sort of stuff. For the longest time now, I've wanted Minecraft to move away from Java and be on a more friendly platform and a more friendly language where people could just mod it so easily. I see games like Skyrim and all these other games which are basically just now used as engines to create things that are so much bigger and so much better, and I feel like for anybody that likes voxel based games, this could potentially be it. And the reason that I came across this game is because, one, somebody tweeted it to me, but it turns out that a game that I've been following for the Oculus Rift called Lucky's Tale is actually created by the same studio that are working on this game. So welcome to my Creativerse world. So a couple of the controls to begin with, I can press E to bring up my inventory. I've got a little character sheet. Now currently all of the characters look like this dude here. I imagine in the future they'll like character customization, maybe even like uploadable skins, something along that kind of line. You've got a slot for head, chest, legs and feet, as you'd expect. You have an attack and defense stat, which is obviously when we equip some stuff, and at the moment I've got a touchstone, which is like a teleporter, so you can actually use teleporters inside of this. So as you probably expect with procedurally generated games, you tend to get lost quite easily, and the only way usually to get home is just to kill yourself, but then obviously anything that you've earned whilst you've gone on that really long trek outward, you'd end up losing. So now they've kind of solved that problem with that kind of method, which I think is really cool. And then I just have a random crumpled note. So the crumpled note says, "She said I shouldn't just leave you like this. Fine. Find one of the old crafting stations in this world, build some shelter before nightfall and light it up with something. Do that and you might just have a chance." So yeah, basically that's the start of the story. I like that there's a little dabble of lore in this. It's not just, hey, random world, you can go inside of it. They've actually given us a little something extra on top of that. So I'm going to have a little hoppity hop around, and if you see the compass at the top of the screen, I'm actually making my way over in that direction because that little gear is actually where the crafting table is. And the crafting system in this game is kind of interesting as well. So rather than having any kind of like grid system, you actually just have raw recipes. So it will say, right, you need X amount of one item, X amount of another, and you'll be able to create it. So for example, for this I need one moss and I need one cragwood. So the first thing we'll probably want to do is actually get something so we can actually gather the resources, and instead of creating pickaxes and stuff in this game and like shovels and stuff like that, you actually just create these little things known as mining cells. And when you equip the mining cells in our cool little power glove that you can see that we've got on, it allows you to get higher ranked items. But look at this! You use like the force to like just like rip logs out of the tree. It's so satisfying, like the little like gentle dubstep sound that you get when you collect something. Right, so the first thing we do want to do is make that mining cell. So I'm going to need 4 cragwood, which I've got. I can get 5 more dirt. I've got plenty of vines, and I need a brown mushroom as well. Now the difference in this game is that red mushrooms are found very much like in Minecraft. Red mushrooms are kind of scattered across the floor in the world, whereas the brown mushrooms are actually embedded into dirt. So you've just kind of got to look, there we go, right there. Really easy to find, but there you go. So grab some of those, and that's us sorted in that regard. There are red flowers as well. These are really good for actually creating, there it is, there's the jingle. Yeah, those are really good for actually creating HP potions, so we'll definitely keep some of those in mind. So if I craft that, you'll see that at the bottom of the screen there's a timer, and most things are relatively instant to create, but some items do take kind of like 20 to 30 seconds, but you can run away and do whatever you want. You can go off and do different things whilst you wait for those things to craft. And I was really worried because this game is aiming to be free to play, and I was kind of cautious as to whether they were going to like, I don't know, make it take 24 hours or an hour and you can pay for it to happen earlier. There used to be a micro store on this game in the top right corner of this window where you could actually buy things like stained glass and all those other kinds of things. It seems like for the meanwhile they've taken that out. I don't know what their plans are in the future in regards to microtransactions and stuff like that, unless they are just going to sell it as a standalone title, which is what I really hope they do. I guess the next thing we want to do is maybe grab a little bit of stone. So So as you've noticed at the minute, when I hover over something, it's green. I hover over that, it's red. And that's because I haven't equipped the mining cell. So I right click it, and there you go, I've got that. So my mining cell means that I can now get things like stone, sandstone, anything else that's a little bit tougher. And oh god, wait until we get to resources. When we get to things like coal and iron and obsidian and all these kinds of things, you actually use these really cool, like, sci-fi looking, like, I don't even know, they're kind of, it's like ancient but futuristic Indiana Jonesy technology. It's really, really freaking cool. I could probably do with making a weapon. So how do I make one of those? I need 4 cragwood, leather, and bones. Right, okay. So it means I've got to go and kill some stuff. If you notice in the bottom left corner of the screen, kind of on the hotbar, at the minute it's selected on the mining cell. If I switch over to tab, then I have this stick. It's like the default item that you start with, and you just sort of click and you swing, and the overlay of it is really nice, quite satisfying to look at. And these crab guys are kind of interesting. They have some interesting mechanics as well. So if I don't stand near him, there you go. If you don't stand near him when he does the spin, you're not going to take gross amounts of damage, and he will chase you, and they do hit quite hard. So, ow, god. So I kind of want to avoid him, but look, he's invulnerable in that time when he's like that, and as soon as he goes pure white, that's when he pops back out. But it does take quite a bit, oh god, to take down these crabs. Oh god. I'm down to what? Nearly half health. Jeez. I should probably be trying to kill pigs before I try and kill those. And when you kill them, they drop a little loot bag, which is quite nice. So he had, what, 2 mud and a Rockstar Rock. Sure. That sounds like the worst ever boy band name ever. I did see a pig right there, actually, and luckily enough, the pigs are literally called Pigsy, which is quite nice. I think so far I've only encountered like 4 mobs. So there's the pig, which is relatively standard to attack. You've got these crabs, which are quite difficult. You also have something known as a leafy, which is kind of like this little kind of like leafy green. Honestly, it's weird. It's a toad with a leaf on its head. It's quite odd. So here is Pigsy, and then there is also another one which is terrifying. It's like this weird, like, walks on 2 legs but is massive thing, and it's got tons of eyes. So if if you're not into spiders and stuff like that, you probably don't want to look at it. But if it actually looks at you and like casts its attack, it can actually blind you. Like, it makes the whole screen go white, and it actually turns you 180 usually, so you're completely disorientated. Here's something interesting to point out. So remember those red flowers that I got from the tree? It was literally like a leaf block with some red flowers embedded in it. As the render distance gets further out, all of the textures actually become kind of like block and matte colors. So you can see over there, that looks like it's completely plain green, and that's completely plain red. But as we get a little closer to it, you'll notice then that the texture starts to come back into the foreground. It's really, really cool. So you can actually see just from a distance if you've located any nodes, if you've got any leaves or mushrooms embedded in the side of a mountain. It saves you making the journey over there and then not actually, you know, getting the resource that you're actually hoping to find. So the jumps in this game, as we're all used to with Minecraft, are 1 block. These are actually 2 block high, so it's as tall as the character is, which is kind of weird. I'm not used to that just yet. Placing blocks is as you'd expect. It's right click. There you go, and it just pops into the frame. Now, one thing that is weird is even though you can jump up 2 blocks, you can only ever place 1 block beneath you, which I guess makes sense. I kind of like that limitation is in place. Otherwise, you would be scaling stuff even more ridiculously quickly than you already can, because I haven't really found any mountains or anything like that to be particularly challenging when I've been sort of like traversing the world. Where is that little leafy guy? So the pigsies usually attack you back, but the leafies are quite evasive. So as soon as you hit him once, he will actually just sort of try and leg it. If I press C to crouch, you'll see in the top right corner you kind of get the notification that you've crouched correctly. But one thing that I don't like about the crouch, okay, is if I crouch on this there, and then I'm still on the edge and I jump, you barely move away from it. I would prefer it if it was like Minecraft, where when you jump in the air, did you just spawn on me? What? Since when did that happen? Get out of here! Bugger off! That's it, run away from me. Oh, he's not going to fall off an edge, is he? That's one thing you can't really do. You can't really, like, push them off stuff. Let me jump up here and grab you two. You two are just derping out in the tree. The spawns are very odd this time around. I've honestly, in the whole time I've played this, and I've sunk a good few hours into this, I've never seen them spawn so peculiarly, and especially not on top of me as well. Like, that's even weirder. So inside of these we've got little leafy leaves, which are quite nice. We've got some sinew, which is interesting, and we've got some bones as well. So really I don't want to drop down onto there. you know what? The sprint is fast in this. So sprint is when you hold shift. I'm just going to run that way. Oh, not quite. Ah, oh no. It was probably good for me to die because at least then I can show you what happens when you die. When you die, you get a huge beacon in the sky from the point where you died. And you will notice that your entire inventory will be gone. More often than not, your hotbar stays completely untouched. And you never lose your touchstone either. That's something important to point out. But what you can do is you can come back to this little, like, pot. It's technically known as a death statue. And then there you go. And you got all your stuff back. So whenever you die, it doesn't burst into, like, a big sort of Sonic Rings explosion. And then just sits there until it gets completely destroyed or, like, you know, until it withers away. You do actually get to keep your stuff. I don't know how it works with lava. I haven't actually, in the entire time I've played this game so far, encountered lava. I keep getting to the wall where I find everything that I need, and as soon as I start to need either obsidian or need coal, iron I've not really had to use so much so far. I noticed that I seem to hit a wall, and I just don't seem to be able to progress. Like, the resources are so far in between that it's just pretty much impossible to play. But again, those are all like kind of balancing issues that they can address in future updates. Let me just jump up there. There you go. Right, our goal was to make a sword, wasn't it? I reckon if we make a sword, we'll make a base, and then we can wrap that up for this initial video. And if you would like to see more, obviously make sure you pop it in the comment section below. I probably will do a few videos on this, just because I think there'll be a lot of people that will be skeptical about the game, and I'd quite like to show off some of its more exciting features. There we go. We got a sword. So let me equip the sword, and I go up to plus 10 attack. Wonderbar. Right. What are we going to make next? You can actually make armor. I could probably do making a processor, because the processor basically allows you to take existing items and break them down into other items. And if I recall correctly, I'm fairly sure that the vines become twine, but I could be wrong. Yeah, there you go. Let's make the processor. That might take a little while to... Oh, no, it crafts instantly. Fantastic. And something to point out about the crafting system in this game, you can find recipes randomly throughout the world. You will find books that contain the recipe for certain items, and then to actually continue through the tree, you actually have to make things in order to unlock more things. So it's not just a case of if you have the stuff and happen to know the recipe, that's great. You actually have to unlock them step by step, which I think is really nice, because then you kind of take the steps through it and actually make one of everything, kind of. Obviously, if you're not really into decoration stuff like, you know, walls and ramps and stuff like that, then you're not going to end up unlocking them all. But say you want to make every kind of weapon, I'm fairly certain it goes wood, stone, and then obsidian, so it's a fairly short process. I'm going to hollow out the side of a mountain, I think. I think that's going to be the best course of action for making a house. Lighting is one of the issues in this game, and the torches you actually acquire have different strengths. So the initial torch that I'm going to make, you'll notice, doesn't really grant a crazy amount of light, but as you work your way up through them, they become stronger and they cover more area. So there we go. So we've got a little torch there. Let me just hole off the roof here. Here we go. Sand doesn't fall in this game either, by the way. Just wanted to point that out. So anybody who's used to that habit or is always in fear of actually picking up sand, in the fear of it all like going to hell, you don't have to worry too much in this. Right, so there we go. That's all blocked up for now. I do need to close this up because the pigsies can actually jump through 1-block holes. So I'll patch that up for the meanwhile. And I think the next thing I want to create would be a... Let's try using the processor. Let's put in these. And that should make... Yeah, there we go. It makes the twine. Okay. So we put vines in. It makes twine. And there you go. Look, the countdown. So that's the first item that we've come across in this video that actually has a countdown timer. But that should now mean that I can make my first bit of armor. Let's make a... I'm going to make a hat. Why not? 2 leather, 1 twine. Instantly done it. And when you put it on... Voila! Now, one thing I don't know about this game is if there is a third-person mode. I don't believe that there is. I think the only time you actually get to see your character is when you're like this, or if you play multiplayer, which is really good, by the way. The multiplayer is absolutely seamless. It's really clever via Steam. Here we go. Stone slabs and wood slabs to make a processor. I tell you what, I'll save that for next time, because these are the really cool alien devices that I was talking about that help you collect coal, but I hope you can tell just how enthusiastic I am about this game. I'll do a couple more videos on it. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you're going to pick this game up and have a little dabble. Like I said, the devs are really, really responsive to people's suggestions via their Twitter and their Facebook. I've already given them a few, and they've already got them lined up for the next patch. So they really are listening to the community on this one, and it's just so fun. It's really good. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!